For a lot of first timers to the Soul series, this game can be extremely difficult, daunting, and really hard to pick up. I'm just making this video for a lot of the new players that are having some trouble getting some traction, and hopefully after watching you'll be able to have an awesome weapon that'll put you in a position to really enjoy the game and branch out and do the things that you really like. I picked this weapon up on the first part of the game, and I've been using it on every boss since then. It's extremely helpful, and there's legitimately no reason why you should struggle after you get this weapon. Now, after you get to this part of the game, uh, typically you'll be out of the very first starting area, and if you stick to the side of the mountain and continue to head north, you should find yourself here. Now, what I typically recommend is to go to that first side of the grace, kill the first guard, and then you get your first weapon that'll help you actually clear that first area. Now, you won't have the horse, so you might want to sneak around the backside there and kind of walk through the camp. And once you get to this area, you should be able to get to this third grace. And once you get to this grace, I think after this one or your third grace, you should be able to talk to Melina and then get your horse. Having the horse is extremely important. If you don't have the horse, it's going to be almost impossible to even get over the Bridge of Sacrifice. But after you get to that second grace on the horse, you're going to keep going and just pretty much follow the path all the way to Castle Morne. If you want to stop and kill these two giants at first, that's actually a really good way to get some free experience. You get 5,000 from one and then around 1,000 from the other. So when you're barely starting, it's super helpful. Now this part is a little tricky. There's a ballista on the side there. So what I recommend is going to the right, double jump over the barricade, which will help you dodge the first one, and then stick to the left side, and then you should be able to get around it super easy every time, as long as you follow that same step. Go over to the right, and then get your grace resting point, and then you're going to come over here and see all the dead bodies strewn about, and there's going to be an NPC waiting right there. You're going to exhaust the dialogue from that NPC and continue to head down the path. Another really helpful thing that you can do if you want to pick up another weapon, you can aggro all these mobs and then wake up the giant and then have the giant kill all those mobs, because there's actually a couple really good weapons that you can use here if you have a nice little dex build. A lot of people get dex when they first start because they like to attack fast and instead of getting like a heavy weapon, but it'll definitely help you in the castle coming up. You continue to take the path all the way down, and the reason I'm not clipping out a lot of this is because the areas are so huge that if I clip out something, you actually might get lost, and then you'll find yourself in the same position you were before, struggling. There's a grace over here that you can use. That way you don't have to travel all the way back just in case something accidentally happens. And then you're going to continue the path as you were doing before. You can't miss it. It's a huge castle after you get past that wall. There's going to be a huge giant right here, so you're not going to want to run straight at it. I think this one actually has a bow, so you're going to want to run around the mountains and then come behind it, clip its legs, and then head inside of the castle. Now, of course, this is going to look a lot easier for me because I'm a bit over leveled. But what you're going to want to do is make sure that you run it just like this, or you're gonna struggle. So you're gonna come up. For the dogs, it's gonna take maybe 2 or 3 hits to kill those, but be very careful. Walk around the side, be as sneaky as possible. You're gonna want to, of course, kill that dog. You're gonna hit that 2 or 3 times, that one, and then this one. And of course, when you're first starting out, these things can like 1 or 2 shot you, so you got to be really careful. Continue to walk on the side there. Now this guy can be pretty difficult. Just make sure you hit him as many times as possible to make him stagger. You're probably gonna need to hit him a whole lot more, just depending on the weapon that you end up having. If you get the machete from that one area, that's why it'll really help you to use that giant to aggro all those mobs, because you can actually get a decent amount of grace, and you can get a decent weapon in the process as well to help you clear all of this. You're going to take this ladder, and then After that, you're going to walk over here, kill them, go past the two archer gargoyles, which are extremely annoying. But once you pass those up, you're going to go straight. And if you go too far, you'll miss the ladder. So take the ladder. And then after the ladder, you're going to come over to this area. You can go over here to the side and pick up those items or whatever's over there, but this is where the main juice is, where you'll come across them and they'll all be fighting. And of course, you're going to want to go for the flying one first. You really don't have to fight them, but of course, just for the sake of doing it, I'm just doing it just so you guys can see that it's possible to just walk past it if you really wanted to. And they could actually just continue to fight each other. And you don't even have to worry about them until after you get the weapon. And at this point, all you have to do is walk up to the top of this place right here. Get past this freaking barricade that's in the way. And you should see a knight. It's the NPC's dad that's going to be sitting there. Now, if you want to be a nice person, you can exhaust the dialogue and do the quest line. But of course, that's boring. And if you want to do that, you might as well play Final Fantasy. Challenge the NPC, kill the NPC. When you come back up the ladder, take that left over here and you'll see the bridge is a little broken. Fall down the back and you should see a grace here on the back. This is the part where you're going to be getting to the secret boss that's in this area. It's the only real way to get to actually, this will give you another weapon. This will give you Oath of Vengeance as well. It's really good for strength builds. There's two slimes back here. The slimes, even though I'm over leveled, I'm just kind of showcasing the fact that the weapon itself still won't deal that much damage. But if you have like a torch or something, or a weapon that has some type of element on it, that'll let you deal way more damage, as you can see. Pretty much one shot those and with one of the weapon arts. And then you kind of just go down here. Kill the mobs on the bridge. And after you do that, you're going to want to get back on the bridge. And once you get back on the bridge, look over to your right, and there's a little building to the side. Hold your sprint, jump. You should land on there perfect every single time. Drop down here. Don't worry about fall damage, you'll be just fine. Same thing here. Sprint and jump. And the goal is just to get all the way down here. Now be very careful in this part. I would hate to spoil it for you, but if you're not careful, you'll end up jumping inside of this whole thing, not realizing there's like 5 rats just chilling, waiting for you to jump down. After you kill them, go outside the gate, take a left, and then you can get that next grace, and this will set you up for the actual boss fight. Now, when you get the weapon, you should have a bit of points in dexterity, a bit of points in strength as well. And you can really, really, really go to town on that boss. But the boss will be over there to the left. You'll get there by going over the bridge and climbing down the ladder on the right. But once you get there, you just 2-tap it as many times as you please, and you get the Oath of Vengeance sword right after that as well. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.